holding it in for so long, it can get so heavy, it can weigh you down. And I think a lot of that times that's when, you really sink deep down because you just feel like nobody quite understands you. Nobody understands what you're going through.
Welcome to The Giving Game, the only show where professional athletes are banned from talking about their sport.
That's right.
No stats, no game recaps, no media-trained answers.
I'm your host,
Sophie Weitzel, and every episode we find out who these athletes actually are when the cameras stop rolling and the jerseys come off. We're talking untold stories, questionable life decisions, dating disasters, money, family,
fame, philanthropy, and all the stuff
their PR teams would probably prefer stayed off the internet.
But here's the twist.
Every episode is tied to a charity or cause chosen by the athlete. So while we're exposing personalities, we're also raising real money and driving measurable impact
for the organizations that matter. There are only 3 rules on this show. No sports talk, no filters, raise as much money as possible. So if you've ever wondered what athletes are really like off the field, welcome to The Giving Game. Let the game begin. All right, well, today we have Mr. Laurence Maroney on the show. Welcome, Laurence.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. This might be the only sports show that you've ever been on where I actually don't know anything about your football career, and maybe a good or bad thing, I don't know, but we're going to have some fun today. And the 3 rules of the show are, no sports talk, no PR answers, and let's raise as much money for your foundation as possible. So
I like them rules.
Ready to get it started? Yes.
For sure.
So Laurence, tell me a little bit about why you're here, a little bit more about your foundation and what all you guys do.
When I got drafted, let me just go back. So growing up in St. Louis, and especially in the community I grew up, it was underserved, underprivileged, lack of resources, and by the grace of athletic talent that God gave me, I was able to still find my way through the nicks and crannies to, further my education and further my talents. And so I knew once I got drafted in 2006 that I wanted to, bring resources back to the community. You know what I'm saying? Be that bridge and help uplift my community. And so I started my foundation. And so my foundation, we was running from 2007 all the way to 2012. We did a lot of back to school events, 39 Angels for Christmas, did a lot of turkey drives for needing families, partnered with a lot of people in St. Louis, St. Patrick Center, giving out high meals. And so, I was planned in, and so we did a lot of the basics, the things that, everybody was doing. And so one of the challenges was always trying to challenge my board at the time to, what can we do differently that everybody's not doing? And so 2012, life for me took a change. Started, finding myself going down that slippery slope. So we didn't really do much with the foundation. End up getting back in a better space in 2020, which seems so like a decade from 12. And so at that time, I was dating my fiance, which is now my wife, Briante, and she was, just hearing my story, hearing everything that I overcome, from mental health, depression, and, once being at the top, coming back down to the bottom. And so she was just like, we need to get back out in the community. Like, the kids need to hear your story, need to hear all that you've been through, regardless of how it went. You're definitely a blessing to these kids. You're a success story. And I was just like, we cool. I just rather, just raise my kids right off into the sunset. And so she probably badgered me for about 2 years, to where 2022, I just decided, because she wouldn't leave it alone, I said, okay. So she wanted to restart the foundation, getting back out in the community. And I was kind of nervous just because, almost a decade went by. I just didn't know how the city was going to perceive me, even though I know I had a big career and I left a big landmark on the city. I just didn't know how the receivement was going to be after, going dormant for so long. And so, but this time when we revamped it, we rechanged the mission statement, and we really focused on the mental, financial, and physical wellness of the youth. And so in 2023, we did our first event, and the love that I received from the city was one of them overwhelming ones. Like, I can't believe they still remember me. They still love me. And it just to hear it was like, man, we've been missing you, been waiting for you to come back out. We glad you back out. And just over this 4-year period, the love, the growth of the foundation, just where I was 4 years ago to where we at today, it's just been so remarkable, man. And just hearing them beautiful words from the city, just from the people of how much they appreciate me, miss me, and love the things that I'm doing is, one of the main reasons that we're keeping this foundation going. And so now with the foundation, we really focusing on the mental wellness of the youth, and not just the youth, but the parents as well, the physical and the financial, because them some of the things that I dealt with that really took me down that bad path of life.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I don't know, I'm sure you know this, but we chose to have you on in June for mental health.
Yes, mental.
Yeah, Mental Health Awareness Month, and I think it's so important for men. And I've actually gotten some a few crazy DMs about like, what about women? What, there's a lot, and I'm like, yes, like everybody's mental health is important, but like men, creating healthier men automatically is going to trickle down and create healthier daughters and healthier wives and all those things. And I think that you're probably a much better husband now than you were a boyfriend, whenever that was. And sounds like Brianna is a badass and I want to meet her. Briante. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like she's a badass and I want to meet her. And she sounds awesome. So like, good for her for keeping that going. And just, it sounds like you had have a really good partner in your life that's like, hey, I'm going to push you and I'm going to keep you going. And, more people need women like that in their lives.
For sure. And so one of our biggest, we just coming off one of our biggest events, which is the LM39 weekend, which is our mental health sports jamboree. We have a lot of things going on in that day, from flag football game championships to we have a bunch of resources that's readily there, ready for service. We just really try to create this safe environment that, where people can just really let their hair down, enjoy themselves, a big fun community event. But at the same time, we bringing these resources to the community and really connecting them to it's just a really overall feel good day. We be having yoga and workouts and bill assistance from some of the electrical companies, water companies that's here in St. Louis. So we try to promote a lot of things as far as having mental health organizations there, other therapists, and just there's giving their time and resources. And so overall, like the event is just one of those amazing events, man, that I'm just so proud to just see the growth of it from year 1 to year 4. And then our other big event is our Toys for Joy event. We do for Christmas, and that we try to make sure we support families. And, just to show you the growth of that, we supported about roughly 100 to 150 families my first year, till we supported over 500 families last year.
Wow. And, something that I didn't realize, and, this may be like common knowledge in your world, but something I didn't know was, talking to all these guys, they're like, nobody else funds this. This is me. This is me. Like, and so I think that's why I wanted to start this too, because I'm like, there's so many nonprofits out there that I think sometimes people who donate get a little bit overwhelmed, right? And they're just like, there's so many out there, and wanting to have a place for you to differentiate, like, hey, this is what Laurence does. It's not just, it's not the same thing everybody else does. And sometimes people get like, it's almost like stimulation overload of like, I don't even know who to, I don't know what to donate to.
So many options.
Yeah, but like a lot of people don't know that you guys are funding a lot of this yourselves, and I'm just curious how long you had to fund it yourself before you actually got some help there.
So every year we funded it on our own. Last year was the first year we started getting some sponsorships, some donorships that helped us fund it, but 90% of it really comes from us. I know that there is a better way. I just haven't figured out the better way. And at the same time, I'm just one of them people that until I find a better way, I still have to figure out how to help my community, how to uplift my community, and still put these events on, because I know it is bringing so much joy and so much resources to the community that regardless if I get sponsorships or donorships, I have to figure out how to put this on, because I see how much is really bringing my community up. And so also this year we will be starting a after school program that will be going into schools. And so even just funding and trying to get that started and uplifted, it takes money, you know what I'm saying? And so, like I say, right now we do fund about 90% of everything we do.
Just something I have learned, again, just talking to people and learning is like Shay, SGA, and his dad, Vaughn, have created this. It's like after school hours, situation, because they're like, everybody is kind of giving backpacks out. And the really dangerous time for these kids is like, from when they get out of school until the moment they get back in school in the morning. So creating a really safe spot for them after school was like
Sure.
their big thing. And I don't know how it is in your community, but I know in certain areas in St. Louis, because I'm a Missouri girl, so repping that. But I will, yeah, I know St. Louis.
For sure.
And so I know there's probably some areas where there are kids that don't feel safe and don't feel like they want to go home, and hopefully you have something for them that's like, hey, this is a resource for you if you don't feel safe.
For sure, we definitely trying to create that, man. It's just because it's just like giving these kids hope, giving them a different option. Like we can tell them, hey, you should do better, but why should they do better? Why, what, you know what I'm saying? And what are we doing to let them know that this is better, that we are here to support them, because these will be the same kids. If we can't get them early to go, them going to be the ones that's committing the crimes later. And so it's just, for me, it's just always trying to make sure we get this next generation the opportunity of success. You get what I'm saying? It's one thing if a person can't make it to success or this, but it's like they haven't even had the opportunity. So just showing the next generation a better way, a better path, then, hey, you don't have to be a product of your environment. You can just be a product from your environment. And so the more people that I can bring up from my community, and hopefully they love what I did and what I'm doing is help shape their life, that then they come back, because I can't do it by myself. So the more people that I can create to be like me that come back and pour into our community is what I'm trying to do.
I love that, man. That's awesome. That's so great. And, and some of the things that I want to touch on with you is just obviously the mental health aspect, because, that's what we're focusing on right now in this month. And just saying, okay, why is it so hard for guys? Why, harder for guys? It really is. And it's like, especially athletes, and every single athlete that I've talked to has been like, I struggled with depression, I struggled with anxiety, I'd have panic attacks, or I felt all this pressure from my parents, or whatever it is, like some sort of mental health issue due to athletics and the pressure with athletics. And it's like, what are we going to do to change this? Like, this isn't, I want to have a better world for my kids. Like, I want sports to be an outlet for my kids or an escape for my kids. And now it's turning into more fucking pressure because, there's play for, like, everybody's paying to play ball. Everybody's like, there's just so much pressure involved now. And I just want it to go back to being fun. And it's like, it kind of starts with like you guys being like, hey, this isn't cool, right? Like people that look up to you being like, it's not cool to do that. It's actually cool to just play ball in your community and have fun, and what we're doing for kids to make it fun again.
Oh, yeah. So the pressure comes from just, you got to think about it, like, especially when you're playing football. And I should speak from that standpoint, even though we don't supposed to be talking about sports. But the reason why it be so hard to talk about it, because, they teach you early, you can't wear your emotions on your sleeves. Football is a gladiator sport. So it's just like, one, you got to block your emotions because you don't never want your opponent to get the edge. And so once you go so many years of blocking emotions, so now you don't even know how to feel. And then you got so much pressure. Everybody only sees the Sunday, the game day, you know what I'm saying? But nobody hears the preparation that goes on throughout the week, the constant verbal abuse from coaches, and the pressure because you was a first round pick or a second round pick to perform. That knowing that every day they're looking to replace you, no matter how much money they're paying you, is always trying to replace you. And then learning the business aspect about it is just like, it's no longer personal. It's no longer fun, because now we adding business to it. When money get involved, now business is getting into it. And so now we can't really have fun because now we got to look at this from a business structure standpoint. So it's so many things that goes on that really hurts a person mental. And, when people look at us as athletes, we these big, strong athletes. So it's just like now the perception of the world, now we got to be strong because the world say we have to be strong. And the world say we these big, tough athletes. So I don't want to talk about it. I'd rather bottle my problems in, and I'd rather hold them in because I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to release it. I don't, you know what I'm saying? And nobody really never told us that it was okay to do that. And that's for me and my foundation, that's what I want the kids to understand. It is okay not to be okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
And I understand the thing. And so what I want to do is try to bring the resources to help. Okay, let's work on your mental now, because I know you might not be having mental issues now, but I know that as we go up this ladder and we further this journey of sports life, these will arise. And so if we can teach you how to cope with these things now, and when you think about mental health, it's not a one-all answer that's okay, I got mental health issues today, and if I do this, I no longer have them. But you'll have them for life. But how do we cope with them? How do we ease it when we feeling anxiety or we feeling stressed or feeling overwhelmed or our social battery is just not full no more? How do we recoup? And so trying to be proactive than reactive, I think that will help, some of them issues.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And people that haven't ever experienced it have a really hard time empathizing. And I've kind of like, I've dated somebody, my boyfriend, I dated one time, he was like, I I don't know what to do, like, because I'm having this horrible panic attack and I'm feeling like I can't breathe. It comes out of nowhere. Like it really does. And he's sitting there and he's like, well, what's made you anxious? We've had a really good day all day. Like, I don't know what's what's making you so anxious. I'm like, nothing. Like that's not how it fucking works. You're trying to be like, that's not how it works. Like, and I don't know why. I'm just feeling this way. And people want to, people want to help or whatever, but when they don't know and haven't experienced it, they have no clue what to do.
At all.
And you're just like, and it almost makes it worse. It's like, I'd rather you just leave and not be here than you do whatever you're doing right now. But if you are experiencing like depression or I don't know what you struggled with, but if you're experiencing depression, or say you're in a super dark place right now, and like there's somebody out there that's like, Laurence Maroney, he's my dog, he's my dude, like I want to do everything he does, and they look to you and they're like, what's the first thing I can do to get better? If they can only do one thing that day and they're in a super shitty place, what would you tell them to do?
First thing is, that helped me is really opening myself up to find somebody to trust to talk to it. And people just don't understand when you're able to talk, express yourself, use your words, and you just put it out there in the air, whether help came or not, how much pressure that relieves you of from just holding it in, just keeping it upon you. And so I had to really trust talking to somebody. And I remember the first couple times I talked to a therapist, I wasn't open, because I really didn't want to be there. And so, but the more and more she made me comfortable, the more and more she was able to talk to me and get me to talk to her. And the more and more I was able to get it out and put it out there in the air and really become the grips of and being honest with self. And I think that's the first part. We have to be honest with ourselves. Like there's a problem. Because I think sometimes we don't think we have a problem or we don't have mental health issues because, it might not be right there where you see it at first. But really just being honest with self was the first, and taking accountability. Okay, I need help. We try to be so long, do everything on our own and be the tough guys, and we don't want to admit it and we don't want to go search for it. And so for me, it was just really admitting that, all right, I'm not in a good space. I need help. Some things I can't get myself out of. I need help. How do I navigate through this part of life? And so once I started talking to her, talking to my therapist and just getting it out, and now I'm starting to find answers, or okay, dang it, maybe I could have did that better, maybe I could have did this a different way. And so just really starting there, just finding somebody that you can trust, that you're able to talk to, that's not going to judge you, not going to have an opinion or try to use what you tell them against you.
Yeah, for sure. And I like to emphasize this too. Not every therapist is a fit for you, which
For sure.
sounds silly, but it's like that person didn't work for me. And then some people just quit right then because they're like, oh, I don't mess with therapy. And it's like, no, maybe that just wasn't the right
The right
therapist.
one for you.
That wasn't it. Because, maybe that doesn't work for you, and that's okay. But just saying, hey, therapy isn't for you. Therapy's for everybody. You just have to find your right
For
fit.
sure, whether it's a therapist, a life coach,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Just really having that somebody that you can really let a lot of that pressure off, man. Because just holding it in for so long, it can get so heavy. It can weigh you down. And I think a lot of that times that's when, you really sink deep down because you just feel like nobody quite understands you. Nobody understands what you're going through when you're not really opening up and giving somebody a chance to understand or a chance to help. So for me, it was just really, letting go of that ego, you know what I'm saying, and letting go of that pride that stands in a lot of our ways that block us from getting better and block us from getting our blessings. So I really had to drop my ego and drop my pride and really open up. And I realized, talking led to something else that led to something else, and to where, it's just a day-to-day process.
And you know, and letting it out and being emotionally healthy doesn't make a person soft. Like no girl wants a guy that they're gonna have to like, you know, they're gonna cry on their shoulder every night. Like nobody wants that, right? Like
For sure.
you still want a healthy man, and you still want somebody who can lead. But like in order for them to do that, they gotta let shit out every now and then. They've
Right.
gotta
And
be,
then, you gotta show a woman your vulnerable side. You gotta
yeah.
be able to be vulnerable.
And so then I got a different perspective the other day during this like conversation with Ben Zobrist. He's really, really great guy, really great. He's a pitcher. And he talked about how this has to start with the coaches. We got to do something different about how the coaches and parents are like start like it's not the kid's fault. The kid doesn't just automatically have all this pressure on themselves. Like that's not where this starts. This starts with us. And so what are we doing? What are we telling the coaches? Like actually it's not okay for, you know, do you know anything about your players, or do you just know what position they play? Do you know like what kind of home life they have? Do you know what, you know, motivates them? What, you know, and I think that just really knowing your players and giving them that's what seems like a great coach to me, is somebody who it's like they can bring out the best in you. They don't let you like have excuses. Like there's no cop outs, right? Because it's like that's also like a mental issue that you got to figure out why you run away from everything. It's like we're not going to let you cop out, but like what can we do to motivate you to get the best out of you without tearing kids down? Because I feel like
For
it's
sure.
almost like let's tear them down and
To
just
rebuild them.
yeah, and it's kids that especially don't have the greatest home lives already don't have the most self-worth, right? And it's like you're telling these kids that already feel like shit at home that they're shit in their sport too, which they thought they were pretty good at, you know, and then we're expecting them to just magically be like, "Oh, I'm motivated now, man." Like what kind of philosophy, you know what I mean? Like how do we expect
For
people to
sure.
do well? And
For sure.
I mean, how the hell are we teaching coaches to be better? And that's what I
And
want
I
to
think,
see.
yeah, for sure. And I agree with you. I think it do start there. Cause I tell people all the time, I can't remember too many coaches that personally ask me, "Oh, how you feeling? How's home life?" You know, and I think that's stated that separation. Not saying that you wasn't a good coach, but you know, the better you know your kids and actually, because when you got to think about it, for some kids, coaches are the closest to a father figure that they'll get. And so the better that you can interact with your kids and your players. And I think for me, being a coach now, coaching my son little league team, like we ask them questions. We try to create more than just a team or you just a player, like a family bond. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these parents be single parents, single mothers, and then we coaches, and so we try not to overly yell at them, but we do because that's the nature of the game. But we definitely try to understand them and create these different experiences. So we teaching them and learning them now without all the other extras. And so it do start with the coaches. I think it start with the parents too at home. And so especially now we in this NIL deal, the parents is really over the edge and really put the pressure on the kid because it's like now, to me, I feel like some parents be, yeah, this is my ticket out. We can get this NIL. We can be straight. And it's just like, for me, I let my son know it's like, listen, success can come in everything. Like, you don't have to be successful in sports. Like, I'm going to support you in whatever you're going to do or whoever you're going to become to be. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to be sports. It is like, no, I don't need your success to change my lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? We really got to start doing what's best for the kids. Because if we really in it for the kids, us parents, coaches have to take our ego and our personal out of it and do what's best for the kid.
Yeah. How has your mentality changed being a parent? I'm just curious because, like, I was an athlete growing up. I mean, not, my God, not like at your level, at the college level, but it was like, you know, people were shocked when they saw my kid, like my oldest kid, really not super athletic, but he's very, very smart, and he's out there just on the football field and just doing his thing, and they're like, I can't believe you are like just, oh hey, good try, you know. But I'm like, yeah, because it doesn't matter, man. Like he's, you know, what are the chances of my little kid being in the NFL? Not that much, but the chances of him becoming a doctor or helping a lot of people or saving a lot of lives is pretty good. So if he could be a good person, like I don't give a shit, you know. And so it's
Sure.
crazy how less competitive I've gotten, like as a parent, and people are like shocked about that. So I'm wondering if it's the same for you guys, or if you're like,
No, I ain't less competitive. But one thing I say, I'm not living my dreams through him, right?
yeah,
Because I traveled that path. So, but like I tell him, and I tell all my kids, is like listen, if we gonna do sports, we're gonna compete. That's just the nature of sports. It's like I want to teach my kids out before we even love the sport. We just need to love to compete, because if we love to compete, then we can play any sport. And so don't get me wrong. And when I see him, I don't do the pity parties. I don't do that. I don't let him feel sorry for himself, because the world ain't gonna let him feel sorry for himself. But at the same time, it's just like, if we're gonna do it, we have to do it.
Yeah.
And it's a certain level of mental that we have to have for this. And so it's like, if we're going to do it, hey, this is how we need to do it. And if you trust me, understand that, I never lead you into a bad situation, but I'm not finna be picking you up because things don't go your way, or it ain't right for you, because that's never how it's going to be. So, I try to be realistic with my kids, with them in sports, and understanding. I tell them quick, you don't practice enough, or you don't work out enough. So I think you might need to, reevaluate if sports is for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I shouldn't, as a parent, have to tell you, hey, let's get up and train.
Yeah.
Let's get up and work out.
Yeah.
So my mother didn't have to do that for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because sports is what I wanted. And so I'm real competitive, and I want him to be competitive, because if we can compete, if we can have these core values of determination, you know what I'm saying, grit, like I feel like, the core values that sports teach you, if we can, whether we making it sports or not, if we can take that, into the real world and still become successful, because you still gonna have to compete no matter what job title you do. You still gonna have to work. You still gonna have to, go through adversities. Everything ain't gonna be sweet.
Yeah.
You still gonna have to react when curveballs come your way.
You're not gonna have bosses that like you. You're not gonna get along with all your coworkers. Like, you got to work as a team. And that's why it's always like amazing whenever we'd get an applicant for like that. Somebody was like, I was a collegiate athlete. I'm like, I always want to pick them, because it's like they're coachable, right? And a lot of the kids, it's like, I kind of talk out both sides of my mouth, because on one side, I'm like, we've got to be mentally healthy. On the other side, cop outs and things about like, I can't do that because it's hard, and that's hard on my mental health, and I can't, and I'm like, nope, that's not how that shit works. Like, you got to still do hard things. And I used to like always tell my staff, I'm like, results don't lie. And, results are often harsh, but they're always fair. Like, so if you don't work out, like, you're not going to look good. If you don't put on all this work, you're not going to be the best in your job. Results just don't lie. And so whenever my kids come to me and they're like, oh, I can't believe I got this grade. And I'm like, results don't lie. I mean, what effort did you put in? And I think that that's really, really fair to say as a parent, and just say,
For sure.
the world doesn't give a shit about your problems. They don't care that, they're just going to be like,
it goes on to next.
Sucks to suck, man. We're going to hire the next best guy. Right. And how you like combat that is pretty cool. And just telling me like how you're a parent is really neat to see. How many kids do you have?
3.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I have a girl and 2 boys. My girl is 17, finna be a senior. My middle boy is finna be a freshman, and my baby boy finna go into the 2nd grade.
Oh my gosh, you guys had like quite a gap there. I love it. So is the baby boy like totally spoiled?
He is, and so like I think I love that challenge, a part of it, because it's just like he didn't grow up how I grew up, and had the chip on his shoulder, because he really grew up with having everything. But how do we still put that mental toughness in him? How do we still put that work effort in him? You know what I'm saying? How we still get him to put that effort in? And so every day I work on his mental. I tell him how proud I am of him. Oh, you a big dog. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand, like, talent, it could be taught, skills can be taught, but the mental part of the game is where a lot of people lose it. You just got to have it.
Yeah.
And so I work strongly on his mental to get him to understand. It's just like, yeah, you don't have the chip on your shoulder that I did, but I got to give it to you another way. So I overly work on my kids' mental. I tell them, win, lose, or draw, listen, y'all a big dog. We going to be great. Y'all have a different purpose, And so for me, outside of talent and getting them running and getting in shape, it's like I'm overly big on making sure they mental in the right place, and understanding that, yeah, life ain't gonna be fair. Things ain't gonna always go your way, but what can we do about it?
Yeah.
Let's control the controllables, and we can control how much effort we put in every day, how much time we put in every day. You know what I'm saying? So that's more important than anything, because we all seen a bunch of talent. but talent alone don't get you to where you're trying to get.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. And say what you want about Kanye, but he was going on about how his mom, my mom told me every day that I could do anything I wanted. I could be anything I wanted to be in the world. And told me every day how great I was. And guess what? I became great. Like, you tell your kids they're shit every day. They're nothing. Like, what do you think's going to come of it? Like, so I just think of that. It's like, well, I mean, he's confident. You can say what you want about him, but like, I mean, he's a confident dude, and he's like, I do my thing and I go about life and I'm pretty successful. And I think that, I try to do that with my kids too, of just like, you're great. You can do anything you want to do. It's not gonna be easy, but you can. You're like, you're great. And I think if more parents maybe kind of went with that motto of just telling your kids you could do anything, like maybe we would have less issues. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think parents got to be honest with themselves too, because it's just like they say, well, I was raised this way, so that means you have to raise yours
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, even for me, when I first had kids, like I wasn't raised with my father, but I knew I couldn't use that as an excuse to why I couldn't be a good father to my kids. And so it's just like, at some point we have to break the generational curses. It has to start somewhere. We can't keep blaming our past for the future of our kids. And so, I just knew I wanted to be better. And, what do that look like? So I had to start figuring out, what do a good father look like? Maybe because I didn't see it, like, and then you try to surround yourself with other positive fathers that's in their kids' life. I'm like, seeing what they're doing, how they supporting their kids. And so, at first I was nervous of being a father. And it's just like, you had to go through your trial and error moments. And,
Totally.
I know I did a lot of yelling at first, because at first, sometimes you just do what you know.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, okay, let me try a different approach, because every kid, every person don't learn the same. You know what I'm saying? Even I found that out with coaching. I can't coach every kid the same. They might not receive it the same. And so we have to be able to meet kids where they are, you know what I'm saying? And teach them that when they can actually receive it. You might be telling somebody the most important, the right thing in the world, but if you're not telling it to them in a way that they can receive it, it does is no good.
Yeah, no, totally. I have a question about, like, was there somebody when you were in your you said you kind of had a lull time, right? Like you retired and then you had a little bit of a, like, your mental health took a toll.
Yeah.
So, was there anybody that you played with, right? Or anybody that like ever reached out to you that was just like, "Hey man, I hope you're doing okay." Like, and I, just
For
checked
sure.
on you.
I had a couple people, man, and I think around that time, one of my good friends that I did play with, basically brought me out to where he stayed for about 2 weeks, let me clear my mind. And I know, I was living in fairy tale world out there, because I still got to go back to chaos, but at least gave me a chance to breathe, to have a mental reset. And, and even still, throughout the process, that good friend never really gave me a chance to play pity party. You know what I'm saying? He let me get it out first. He let me vent, get it out, but it still is like, okay, but we here now. But now, so what are we finna do? What solutions are we gonna do to get out the hole?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I always appreciate him for that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, wow. When I was looking for somebody just to be a pity party, and, he didn't give me that. He didn't give me what I was looking for, but he gave me what I needed. And there was just that mental toughness to where, like, hey, pick yourself up.
Yeah. And
I'm not going to hold your hand through the process, but hey, pick yourself up. Now let's get back on track.
Yeah. No,
Now let's go here.
So
Let's do this.
So if you
And so I did have a person like that.
If you have like a friend or something, say you have a friend that's going through some shit and they're just, but they won't tell you anything they need. What do you think's the best advice to give like friends? Do you think it's just like, hey, just be there, just show up? Or
yeah, for sure, you just got to be there, because you don't want to force it out of them, and you just let them know, like, hey, listen, whenever you're ready to talk, because it got to be on their time. Especially when you're dealing with men. You know what I'm saying? It's like, men got to be willing to change for them to change. There's nothing that nobody else can do to make somebody change. Like, they have to be willing and ready for change. And I think, just being there for them, just letting them know, like, hey, whenever you need me, I'm here. Whenever you're ready to talk, let me know. And just being consistent. I think that's what it is too, being consistent in people's life. Not just in and out, being sometimey. Just letting them know, like, hey, I'm here, just checking on you. You know what I'm saying? And just really creating that two-way street there.
So when you left and you retired, did you feel like every bit of identity was like stripped from you and you felt
No,
no?
no,
Okay.
no. So you got to think about it. We've done this for so long, right? And so when you go back all the way from Little League, you started might get a little success, but nobody knew who you was in Little League, and then you start making a few tackles or touchdowns, and oh, that's such and such, and then you go to high school and they follow you to high school, and it's just like you repeat the process. Probably not too big on the high school scene until you start making plays and like, oh, that's such and such. And then you same thing, go to college, you get drafted. And so you're dealing with this for so long. So when it's over, you feel like your identity is tied to the success of the sport. And so now once they took the sport, it feel like it took who you are, because without the sport, who is Laurence Maroney? Because you're not really thinking about that, because you think about all the success and the notoriety I got for Laurence Maroney, and people knowing Laurence Maroney was for him playing sports. And so it's like when you first come out the game, it's like, yeah, you feel like your identity gone, because it's like the thing that made you who you are, the thing that you think made you who you were, is stripped away from you. So that was a big issue, because it's like I didn't know who I was no more. Because it's just like I wasn't on TV, the cameras was gone, the cheers was gone. It was just like, who am I? All I've ever done was sports. It was like, what can I do now? Like, what do I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
Like, nobody tells you about the next part of life once this is gone. And so even through my foundation, we do mental health huddles. And we starting to do them quarterly, just mental health hurdles. And the one thing when we just did it in March, but the biggest thing I want to talk about is what happens when the ball go flat. Because everybody talks about, what you need to do to get there and how to prepare yourself to get there. And when you're going down the road, what you need to do to how to beat the obstacles. But nobody talks about what happens when the ball goes flat. Because at some point, whether it's on your terms or somebody else's term, the ball will go flat.
No, all these people are like, there's nobody that deserves these courtside tickets less than you. Like, because I'm just not, I could care less. And I've made just a lot of really good friends that also happen to play sports. And they're like, what the fuck, man? And I'm like, well, okay. I look at it like this. Like, if your friend is an orthodontist or a teacher or a lawyer or a doctor, when they get off work and you guys go get drinks, do you ask them how many teeth they cleaned, about their cases that day? Do you ask them about no, because they want a break from that. Like, they love the fact that I don't care. I don't care, because that's not who you are, right? You are so much more than that. And what's sad is, like, a lot of people don't know you. I guarantee you people probably just know you're maybe from St. Louis, you got drafted by this team, or you lived here for a while, and your position, and what else about you. And so I think it would probably, I don't know. I'm just saying in general, like, most people that are sports fans, that's what they care about, is your stats. And it's like, why was there not a platform like this before where people cared about you guys as people, right? Is it because there's no money in it? Maybe. But I don't know.
I just think, people have so much going on in their lives already. I think, to add on to really know an athlete for who they are, and you got to think about it too. A lot of times, unless you really grew up with that particular athletes, if you just a regular fan, what's the chance of you saying, I'm finna meet Tom Brady, or I'm finna meet this athlete, LeBron James, or I'm finna be friends with Stephen Curry? So it's just like the thought of being even around these athletes is so wise, to where it's like I don't even need to know who they are as a person. It's just cool to watch them do what they do best.
Yeah, and I get that too. I think I just am like, I think that it kind of adds to the pressure of you guys, of like people not wanting to just know more about what you care about outside of it. And I thought, this is your guys' industry, like just professional sports alone brought in over $500 billion. And all of that went from your fans, right? And back into the sport. And it's like, how much of that is actually going into what the players care about and what they're invested in outside of this? And I think it's really just a cool thing to talk about and say, okay, like, we need to put something into the players too, because they're entertaining us, right? Even if you want to think about it
think about it that way. You guys have been really entertaining to people. So it's like, let's give something back to them for doing that for us, you know? And that's kind of how I want to look at it.
You know, that'd be too much like right. It would be, man. 'Cause you gotta think about it. People wouldn't do that. I don't think people would do that just because they already go, because then it's gonna go too well. Look at their contract. They already making millions of dollars. What more do they need?
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I get it. Maybe I just look at the world a little different, man. I don't
We
know.
need more people like you.
I love it. Yeah. Again, I just want to really, really emphasize all the good work that you are doing in St. Louis, if people don't know. And how would I go okay, here's also another obstacle that people have and face is that
Sure.
there's a ton of resources out there. There really is. But people don't know. People don't
Right.
know about them. It's overload, right? And so people may not know, oh, okay, well, Laurence Maroney's foundation will do this for you if you don't have a safe place or if you're mentally not in a good spot, like you could come here. They may not know that. So how do we get the word out and say, hey, this is available to you. This is where you go and this is what you do to join.
Well, one, platforms like yours is an
Mhm.
amazing platform that allows, organizations like mine and other people, organizations to really get their message out there, what they're about out there, the resources that they're offering out there. So I definitely want to say thank you, and I appreciate you for that and having this platform for athletes like myself to be able to put what they're doing out there to the world to see, what I'm saying, for people can see actually what they're doing. But you can also follow the foundation on Instagram and Facebook at LM39 Foundation. And then at the website, lm39foundation.com. You can follow a lot of things we do, what we have coming up and coming, how to donate, how to volunteer, and really just stay in tune with all the great things we have coming up.
That's amazing. And do you guys have any like big events where you host like a big like donor opportunity? Do you host like a golf tournament or do anything like that?
So through the LM39 weekend, when we do our mental health jamboree, we don't have a big golf tournament. I just started learning how to play golf, so I'm gonna add that in. I keep hearing about golf tournaments, so we will add that in. But we do a big brunch fundraiser because we do a 3-day weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so Sunday, for the weekend, we ended off with a big brunch because everybody does galas. And, I'm not just wanting to do something different. I ain't want to make people wait tonight and dress up and do it. And so, for us, we do a brunch. It's basically a gala brunch. And so, and turn it into a little day party afterwards and where we raise funds. And so that's always a part of the LM39 weekend. But like I said, you can always go to the foundation and donate at any time, big or small. We appreciate it all.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Yeah,
the
no,
help.
for sure, for sure. And I gotta ask, man, how in the hell does golf help your mental well-being? Because it makes me like Happy Gilmore out there. I I have never been so frustrated in my whole life. Like, and people are like, you're just gonna be bad for like a year. And I'm like, I don't
You
want to
got
do
to.
this.
Yeah. You get listen. I heard it. I heard you got to we got to weather the storm because listen, I'm not as good as either. So
Yeah.
and so for me too, it's just really just the networking you can do on the golf course, just the
Yeah.
time spent out there is relaxing. And then when you play foursome, I'm not out here trying to be Tiger Woods. We ain't never got to use my ball. You know?
Yeah. I mean, so you're not gonna have like a golf line come out, is what you're saying.
No, no,
Oh, okay.
no.
Got it. No, I'm telling you, it is the most frustrating shit of my life. Like,
It is.
I thought, and I'm blaming the clubs. I'm buying new clubs all the time. It isn't the clubs. I'm spending all this money on all this gear because I'm thinking it'll help. Bought a rangefinder. Don't even fucking know how to use the rangefinder, but I think it's gonna help me, and
Yeah.
it's like, damn, dude, people are saying that this is great for your mental health, and there's nothing that drives me crazier than just being bad at something. And I'm
For
like,
sure, and it just shows me that you still got a little competitive edge in you.
I
That's
do.
all that is. And so, like I say, for me, I just go out there and have fun. Win, lose, or draw. I know this is not. I'm not trying to go professional with it. I'm playing a foursome, just out there, just really just wasting time. And I just know, like anything else, after practice, I ain't gonna be bad for long, just because I know the type of person I am. just the athlete in me, the competitor in me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just gonna be bad. Now, will I become great? Probably not. But I would be okay to hold
What
my own.
what's your favorite golf gear to wear? Like your favorite like you can get pretty swaggy out there.
So I did golf twice. I did two
Okay.
golf tournaments, and so I haven't got that deep into it yet.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
I went out there in regular street clothes
Love
with
it.
some Air Max on and some shorts and a t-shirt, and I say, oh, I don't think this the right golf attire, but hey, it's gonna work for
Smart.
today. But I definitely want to really do learn how to play
Like
golf. Because I do see why people it is fun. You do gotta have a little patience, and I can see why people like it. I'm just not good at it yet, but I did hit a good drive for the first time. I think I hit it like 250 yards. So listen, that was my high horse. I hit the ball good one time out the 18
I love it.
holes. Nobody can tell me nothing.
I no, I'm dying. I like so Jordan one time I like one of my favorite interviews was when he says golf is or no, basketball is my passion, but golf is my addiction. So football was obviously your passion. So what would you say your addiction is?
Oh, I ain't gonna lie, it sounds childish, but probably like video games. I think I need to just learn how to make one. Um,
Okay.
I
Like a
think
Madden or what?
either one, any game, like just a video game, just like when I can give me about an hour, just a mental reset. 2K, Madden, Call of Duty,
Okay.
tennis, golf. Listen, I play them all.
I do it all.
I
I love it.
do it
So
all.
if you were gonna like, if you could meet anybody right now and have a conversation with them and have lunch with them, who would you totally fangirl over or fanboy, I guess, over?
Uh, Honestly, the makers of EA Sports, because I really want to learn how to make a game. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I play the game so much, and I didn't donated so much money into this gaming world. I need to figure out how can I get something back out of it.
Okay,
And
okay.
I have some ideas on how to make it better. I'm one of those. I didn't did it for so long, and I think they just try to make it too realistic, and they taking the fun of a video game away from the game.
Whoa. Next time I'm in St. Louis, if I see some dude with those damn goggles on with the dreads, I'm gonna be like, Lawrence, is that you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
listen, for sure. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I found my way into the tech world.
Oh, okay, okay. I love it. You're like a nerd like me, deep down.
Yeah, listen, for sure. You know, I didn't spend so much time in it. I might as well figure out how to get all the
Yeah.
way involved in it.
Yeah. Okay. I've got a last test for you since you work with kids all the time. Okay. My kids think I'm the lamest person on the planet, but maybe you are cooler than me. And this is the Gen Z versus Laurence Maroney, and you can tell
Okay.
me if you know what any of these things mean, okay?
Okay.
Okay. What is NPC?
Something to do with a computer, probably. I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
NPC like
So
a
yeah.
bot, like a
So,
bot in a
yeah, so this
game.
is yeah, so I guess kids are saying this when somebody's acting robotic or basic. This is the slang. NPC. Okay. What's touch grass?
That's a new one. I don't know that.
I don't even
I don't know that one.
yeah, they say it's go like you get outside, get a life, essentially. Get outside.
Oh,
Okay.
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 Okay. I'm
So
with
you
that.
know. So you know. Okay. So op, you know what that is?
The opponent.
Yeah. The rival or
The
enemy.
rival. Yeah, the
Okay. Okay.
rival or enemy.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh. Oh my gosh. These are so okay. Phantom tax. Do you know what that is?
Not at all.
Okay. Yeah. Stealing a friend's food is what they call phantom taxing. Just so you
Oh
know.
wow.
If the kids say it, you know they're not
They
gonna.
stole some food.
Yeah, they stole some food. It's phantom tax.
Okay.
What's a giat? Giat? Do you know what giat is?
No, I don't know that one either.
Oh. Oh. Oh my gosh. That's a
Is
big.
it like a cuss word? Like
Yeah.
get your ass. It's like is I'm
No.
going down the right road?
Well, oh wait, a giat. Oh my gosh. I think it's a fat ass is what a giat is. Just
Oh,
wait, maybe I'm not saying that right. Maybe I'm saying that in
is
like
it GYATT or something?
yeah, am I saying
I,
that wrong?
I never knew how to pronounce it.
Oh, giat. Yeah. Okay, so giat is a is a fat ass in case somebody says it. And if somebody refers to somebody as an Ohio, do you know what that means?
Not at all.
So something is weird, random, or absurd, and they call it an Ohio.
What they trying to say about Ohio?
I guess Ohio's super random. I don't know. The last one. Okay. Do you know what Shrekking is? Oh my God, this is awful. Oh my God.
Not at all. No.
Shrekking is you date somebody a lot less attractive than you
Like a
because
Fiona?
because they'll treat you well.
Oh, wow.
So if somebody's Shrekking, they're dating somebody that's uglier than them because they're nice to them.
They're nice to them. Wow.
Yeah, that's Shrekking. Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, a lot of people be Shrekking, I guess, in these days.
I mean, Fiona and Shrek seem pretty happy, so it's all good. It's all good. I am so happy that you joined us today, and it's been so nice to meet you. And
For sure.
Then I got somebody repping Missouri finally. My God,
Yes.
it took me forever.
Yes. 314 is in the building.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So next time I'm in St. Louis, I'm gonna be looking for the guy with the goggles on.
Yeah, just give me a shout. We can definitely go get outside and go touch grass.
Touch the grass. Yes. I love it. Oh man. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Laurence. Let's raise a shit ton of money for Lawrence's foundation because he's doing some awesome things. So, if you ever need anything, man, we're just, a phone call away.
For sure. No, thank you.
Yeah. We'll talk soon, buddy.
All right.
Bye.
And that's the giving game. If today's episode hits close to home for you, the donation link for this athlete's charity will be in the description below. And if you can't donate right now, hey, that's okay too. Just do something kind for somebody today. The world needs more of that. See you next time.